What's up, y'all? We're back. Today we are going over a method called full immersion. It's kind of a general style that breaks down into a lot of different things, but hopefully we can highlight some things like why we choose the grinds we choose and how to brew a French press in your house. Today for brewing, we will be using our Colombian that we roasted. This is from Montes de Tatima. It is from the region of Santarillo in Colombia, beautiful Colombia. It's imported by our friends who have done all of our Colombian coffees. Shout out to them. They're doing great work bringing in some beautiful coffees from Colombia. On this grinder, Caprezzo Infinity, I found that I like it like 1 to 1.5 notches finer from the most coarse setting. We're gonna be starting at 50 grams, 50 grams of this coffee, and 800 grams of water total. That results in a 1:16 ratio. That is what we like in this vessel specifically. And how do I know that? I've brewed coffee in it. There's a lot of people that ask, how do you know what to do? And it's like, well, I've tried it, and then I wrote it down and I liked it. You guys want another hack? If you feel like it, something that's kind of nice to do is your grinder can retain some grounds in it, right? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a couple beans and run them through this grinder. That's just gonna make sure, wait for it to shut up. Just kind of purge it is what we call it. It's gonna be kind of hopefully knocking out a lot of those grounds that may be stuck in there from our previous time brewing coffee. Just overall keeps it a little bit cleaner. Take apart your grinder too. You have a grinder at home, take it apart. Put it back together, figure out how it works. As stated before, we are grinding coarse. Look at that, 50 on the dot. We're on 50 there. Got all of our grinds out. We're gonna tear it again. Now our scale is at 0. We got it in there, look how lumpy that is. Straighten it out. You know, make sure they're nice and flat. Looking good in there. Okay, we are ready to start brewing. We are going to be doing approximately 100 gram bloom, but what is most important is just making sure your entire surface is covered and blooming with water, and getting rid of all those gases that will potentially make it harder for us to extract. The purpose of the bloom isn't to extract, it's to make extraction easier for you. So what we're doing is we're just adding a little bit, we're getting rid of all those gases that could have potentially made extraction more difficult when we add the rest of our water. We're just getting rid of those, right? Look at, see, it's increasing in size. I don't know if you can see that. I always keep my lid on my French press when we're brewing. You gotta do it. Thermal insulation's huge. We know all this already, we've discussed this. All right, we are at 1 minute. So what we will be doing is we will be adding water until we reach our final destination of 800 grams. And what we're doing here is we're just making sure we're getting all the bed. We're making sure we're just hitting all the coffee evenly because we have, you know, a little bit of force going in there with just the nature of pouring into it, right? So we just want to make sure that we're just getting everything. Everything's looking good here. We're almost to our final destination here of 800 grams. We are at, boom, 800. There we go, we're good. Now we're gonna give it just a mild, like kind of jostling here with our nice spoon. This is a hack technically, you don't really have to do it. We're gonna put this on 1 minute bloom. We add water, we wait 1 minute. We add the rest of our water to reach our final water count of 800. That is a 1:16 ratio. 50 grams of coffee times 16 equals 800. You should add a bunch of like the Newton stuff when I'm doing very basic math that may be incorrect, who knows. I did it yesterday, so I don't even know if it holds up. And then we are waiting to our final destination of 4 minutes. So essentially 1 minute bloom, add your water, 3 minute brew, plunge. All right, let's inspect the grounds to see what the difference looks between our coarse grind and our fine grind. As you can see right here, we have our coarse grind. We still got some nice little boulders in it. Run it through your hands a little bit if you want to feel what your grinds feel like. Actually get used to feeling for size. Then over here, we have our fine grind. You can tell it's a little bit more clumpy and it feels more airy in our hands. We are at 4 minutes, so we are going to plunge. And how we want to plunge is just nice and steady. A nice steady plunge. You shouldn't be seeing too much resistance. Boom, we're at the bottom here. Okay, we've done it. And I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a little place to pour out. On the front, it is blocked right now. So we're gonna rotate the lid over to be able to pour it out. And then we're gonna actually decant this coffee. Here's a little hack for you. Decanting a French press will get rid of a lot of the silt that people tend to not really like about these French presses. The silt will tend to cause a lack of clarity in your cup and maybe too intense of a body. Let's see what this one looks like. You can leave a little bit left at the bottom if you want to keep some of that silt out. It's maybe not the most efficient thing. Look at that. That is a really dark brew. That's looking really dark. We're going to swirl it around and then we're going to try it out and see what it tastes like. Boy, this thing smells great, but very, very intense. All right. Heat up our cup a little bit. Like I said before, if you want to prove why you do something, do the opposite of what you would think. And then try it and see what it's like. This thing is coming off with a lot of particulates in it. It is looking really, really dark and really thick compared to how normally we would think a French press to look. But as always, we've got to try it. It's hot, but man, this thing is big already. Almost savoriness. You can see just particulates floating in there. And that's coming from the fact that we have a screen size on this. And some of those grounds that are really fine are actually getting into our final cup. The coffee's good, but maybe it's not as good as it should be, right? Maybe we should go coarser. Maybe the fact that people have said that French press is good with a coarser grind, maybe that's right. We'll try that and we'll see what it's like. But I'll tell you one thing. If you're looking for clarity of notes in your final cup, notes that we've made for this coffee off of our cupping table, we're seeing ideas of them in here, but we're not actually seeing them feeling really pointed or very clear. The coffee feels really hazy, really big, almost savory. Boom, we have our final French press right here. Nice kind of color, nice light. We're gonna aerate it just a little bit before we taste it. Make sure everything's kind of in that slurry. Make sure everything's nice and in suspension. We've cleaned up the cup a little bit by just maybe leaving a couple ounces at the bottom left, because that's where a lot of that heavy weight, a lot of those particulates are gonna be, is at the end of your pour. Let's try this and see what it tastes like. All right. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of citrus off of it. It's really well rounded. Initial flavors, we're getting some of that nice caramely sweetness. What do you think? Yeah, for sure. Like, this thing's got a lot of nice sugars going on in it. Those chocolates and those caramels are starting to starting to really come together, starting to really boost the cup. Wait, what are you getting at? Yeah, definitely starting to see a little bit of citrus, but yeah, man, heady brew, man. Really looking forward to see how it cools down.
See if it changes a little bit, you know, that's really the important part of drinking. Everyone knows that it should just get better.
We have some silt in there. That is a full-on mud cup. Look at that. You can see it sticking to the wall. All right, y'all. That was the French press at 2 different grind settings. Hopefully that gave you some insight into why we choose the grind sizes we do and the things that we look out for when selecting our grind size to brew. Now that we've kind of explored that variable, let's explore a different variable. How about temperature? What happens if we brew a coffee at a coarse grind, fully immersed, but we just do it cold? What is that? You may know it. It's called cold brew, and it's massively popular, especially down here in Texas when it's hot. It results in some really, really great things as a result of changing up the temperature, brewing it for longer, brewing it for colder. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of it with Lindsey. Lindsey!
Another version of full immersion is cold brew. And cold brew has become super popular for multiple reasons. One, well, we live in Texas and it's hot. Also, it provides a coffee that is a little bit less acidic than your normal full immersion of hot coffee. And here we have the new cold brew pouches. Here are some vessels we all found lying around our houses that would definitely work for you to brew at home. We have these two because they're both airtight, and this one also you can do a full gallon of cold brew. And these two would definitely work. They may not keep as well because of the oxidation, and the amount of air that gets into the cold brew will result in a oxidized cold brew. So to brew the cold brew pouches, you just take the pouch and place it inside the vessel you're going to be using. And then you take some water, and as you're pouring over the pouch, you want to be sure that all the grounds are covered in water. And it's okay to stir or agitate slightly. Spokesman.com is where you'd find these awesome pouches. Just remember, whenever you're pulling the pouch to taste it, give it a little stir and decide whether or not you want it to brew for longer.
All right, thank y'all for watching. Thanks to Lindsey for showing us what's up with cold brew. Got a bunch of new stuff coming to the store. Make sure to check out the store, check out the Instagram, check out the Facebook, check out all the social media stuff. Keep it locked, as always. Experiment with the stuff in your house and let me know what y'all are doing. It inspires me to think of how to approach the next couple of videos and how to maybe answer some of the questions that y'all are having, and hopefully get y'all making better coffee at home, or at least playing around with your coffee at home. All right, keep it locked.